I couldn't bring myself to tell them it was just an imposter. The whole mess started with the garment grid. That's the invention that lets us harness the dress sphere's power.
Oh yeah. So again, like that, even that line just makes you realize, oh, they probably expected you to come here pretty quick. So the mission is behind the scenes. Retrace Yuna's steps during her Imposters concert in Luca. The truth is out there, find it. Objective, learn the whole story behind the concert. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 1 of Final Fantasy X-2.
Believe it or not, this was the easy part.
Okay, wait, so this is a little bit before, okay, and you can tell that it's not present day because the screen is a slightly different shade.
We chased the thieves all the way to Luca, but when we arrived...
Hear that? Lady Yuna in concert!
Alright, think there are any tickets left?
Looks like your imposter's pretty popular.
I doubt anyone would believe ours is the real Yuna.
Not dressed like that.
I didn't ask to wear this.
Oh, wow.
Whew, it's hot.
Shall we finish this before Yuna passes out?
We'll be back in 2 shakes, so be a good Moogle, you hear?
The plan was to sneak into the imposter's concert and recover the garment grid. If I went in, our cover would be blown, so it was up to Riku and Pain, which left me with nothing to do but lay low and wait. And that's how I got stuck with the Gullwing's prized garment. I complained, but Brother's orders are still orders.
Yay, the children love us. Oh my god, there's so much to talk about here. First of all, I love the idea that there's one of these actually on the airship, and the game will elaborate on that idea at the very end of the game if you manage to get episode complete everywhere. So not necessarily 100%, but do resolve everything in the entire game, and you will, they'll elaborate on that slightly more. But yeah, check it out, we're actually Yuna running around as a Moogle. We get different animations. I love the thought that just because this isn't the code to run around like this, you could hack Final Fantasy X-2 to just have this as the default character model of Yuna running around. Oh, that would be so good. So these children say stuff to us if we can actually catch one of them. Oh my god, you're funny. And this kid says, don't eat me. I love that. That's like a good demonstration of the 2 ways like girls and boys play. This old man says, far as I'm concerned, these young people are making too much of a ruckus. Okay, well, you know, maybe they don't like you very much. I found it interesting on my test file to try and publicize to people. Like, you could have this weird, like, time warp thing. You cannot publicize to anyone during this mission because this takes place before, in theory, we had gone to Argent or Open Air. Should I join the Youth League? Or should I join New Yevon? Why do you have to join anything? Why do you have to be defined by the bands you hang around? You don't have to join stuff. Woohoo! Says the kid. They're all so excited about our concert. I'm going to be training right here on these steps until the season starts. Well, you look like you're from Kilika, so why are you on these steps and not Lord O'Holland's? Maybe that is a whole maybe that's the whole point. Like, they've really got into the mindset of a Kilikan Blitzball player and accepted the fact that they're probably going to want to train on steps. That's kind of a cool idea.
So what did you do after we left?
Top secret!
Oh, she won't tell them, but we'll know.
Mommy! Mommy, my balloon!
As stupid as this is, seeing the balloon fly off, I love that we get to see the Luca balloons in the background. We saw those in a CGI cutscene in the first game, and very little of them ever again. It's easy to forget that they're a part of, like, the design of Luca as a city. You know, they have design documents out there written that say, you know, oh, there are balloons in the sky. We as a player saw so little of it. We saw it in one cutscene, like one, you know, shot in a cutscene, even at that. Maybe a little bit more, and I'm just forgetting, but still.
Oh, hurry up.
You, get over here.
Huh? Why would you just randomly tell a Moogle to come over to you? Okay. Hello? There's no walk animate. Oh, yeah, there is a walk animate. Look, there's so much. Like, this should just be the default Una outfit. This would be so good. Oh, my God. Okay, so the guy comes over here and sits down.
You're here to promote the concert, right?
Me? No, there must be some mistake.
Thanks, and hey, don't screw up.
What
Did I do it because I couldn't turn him down? Or because the conversation was over before I had the chance?
This is all so flimsy, this whole story here. So, Balloon Drive. Somehow you've managed to end up promoting your imposter's concert. Well, what do you know? Use X to hand out balloons to 10 people in the plaza and build up some buzz. It's so flimsy. It's like, why is Una even hiding? Why doesn't she just show herself and then say, hey, I'm the real Una. I'm sure they could prove it. It's not like people are going to just shoot her instantly. And then voila, you know, you're sorted. The guy is no longer sat down here. He's walked off. I kind of like the fact that he just sort of sits there. I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to do in our culture and society. But when I used to like catch the train every day to go into work, they'd get so packed and you'd be stood there for ages, right? So I used to just completely unabashedly just sit down. I'd just be like, screw it, just sit in the train. And you'd often find that as soon as that first person does it, everyone else is like, whatever, you know. I always had a lot more respect for people that just sat down and just did it, you know, like they were confident enough to just be like, I don't care if you think I'm an idiot. And by sitting down, I don't mean in chairs. I mean if you're packed into like a tight carriageway and there's just the floor. So you just sit on the floor, you know, while everyone else is stood up around you. You know, your head's where their knees are. But whatever, you're more comfortable. This will make a lovely souvenir. Thank you very much. So yeah, this is the idea of this whole thing. We're running around giving balloons to people.
Come see the concert, okay?
Come see the concert, okay? You sure it's okay? Geez, thanks. I love Una's voice here. I think it's so good. Be careful to speak to both people on this chair.
Here you go.
Here you go. Hey, Jimmy, says, looks like a hard job. Well, it is, you know. I think they're really good in the dialogue, even though the story itself is kind of stupid. They're pretty good in the dialogue, so you can only give people one balloon. We've got 7 less to go. Mechanically, obviously, the whole idea is we're just trying to talk to all the different NPCs. You'd be surprised how easy it is to miss NPCs just on this one screen.
Don't forget to cheer.
But the dialogue itself is, like, so true. You know, people just nodding and saying thanks. Some people saying, okay, fine, I'll have one. Like, everyone has the different reason for getting it, and it's cool. It shows all the ends of the spectrum.
The concert's about to start.
The concert's about to start. It shows all the ends. Like, here's a kid enthusiastically picking one up. Gimme, gimme, gimme! You know, another kid. I think it would be kind of cool if some kids took 2 balloons. He says, I already have a balloon, but everyone will only take 1. This is the guy who gave us a job. I think. Maybe it's not. But he says, do I look like someone who wants a balloon? He's the only person in this square you can't convince to give you one. Over here, we've got this cafe from the previous game.
Go on, take one.
You can no longer enter that in X-2. This guy says, filling quotas is a pain, huh? All right, I'll take one. You know, it's like he understands us. He's had a job like this before. And he takes one, you know? Like, and that's his reason for it. Not that he's particularly excited about having a balloon. We got 4 remaining. You'll notice that there's 2 people over here sitting, drinking.
It's a really nice balloon.
Voice is just so nice here. I love it. My granddaughter might like this. And this lady over here says,
come see Lady Una, okay?
Well, I suppose if it's free. You know, that's me. That's, by the way, that's definitely my response. If you're giving it, I'm like, if it's free, I'll take it. Whatever. I don't need it. I'll take it. Balloons are cool, though, especially helium balloons. Because obviously you can make your voice all squeaky. I only have 1 grandchild, he says. Wait, am I bad for assuming these 2 people are together as well, by the way? She says, you ought to try giving out some to those broadcast station folks. Now, that's a hint. Now, 99% of all the people you talk to, they just say, I already have a balloon. That lady actually helps us out, though. So we have 2 balloons remaining, and suddenly it's quite tricky. It's like, wow, what? I'm missing NPCs here? Who haven't I talked to? I've been everywhere. And it is kind of sneaky. But what you need to do is come over here. Now, in the previous game, you might remember by looking through that glass there, you could actually see 2 silhouettes of people. Now, you can't really see the silhouettes here anymore, but if you do press X, there's nothing that says press X, you know, in the bottom right-hand corner or anything. If you do, you'll see you can actually open the screen door, and there's 2 people snoozing in here. You'd be surprised how long you can get stuck just here because you don't know that this is possible.
Wanna see the concert?
He says, I look like I need this. Well, you're taking it anyway, okay? And finally, this last guy.
And that makes 10.
That makes 10.
Mission accomplished.
Goddamn. I find myself wondering how old Yuna's voice actor is. It's probably quite bad of me. I'm tempted to like wiki her or just see what else she's been in.
R.P. in position. It's showtime, girls. It's starting.
Oh, here we go. That's it. That's the other side. Could have edited that in at the start of the series, like for some alternate perspective, but it would have made no sense. So, yeah. And so the game begins.
The place was packed with people dancing!
You think LeBlanc was enjoying herself?
Until she got hurt.
I would guess so, maybe.
Does she look that much like me?
Hold it. The concert's sold out. You can't go in.
I can't?
Definitely not. Go on, get out of here.
Hey, we got some gate crashers.
Must be those sphere hunters.
Let's move!
All right, here I'm going to pause it, okay? This is pretty interesting to me. So here we see two goons that just transformed the way they look. And of course, at the start of the game, they set up the idea that LeBlanc was pretending to be Yuna. And these are immaculate transformations, right? Through the garment grid system, which Shinra invented. These people are mimicking one another perfectly. And here we even see that some other goons beyond even LeBlanc seem to have some garment grid technology or something. But interestingly enough, in the game, you never fight anyone against you who themselves is sphere changing. I've said it before, I think this game's got great depth and a lot you can do, especially in terms of the classes and stuff. But it could be so much better if both sides of the screen there was sphere changes and stuff going on, don't you think? But that never really happens. This is the only example of anyone else ever using Shinra's technology. You will see people transform looking like one thing to another. Hell, even in the last game we saw that. But was it garment grids then? Is it garment grids later? Who knows? They just kind of suggest it here. Another little point of interest to me is this entire thing with Yuna's design. Obviously, we had her look in a very specific way in the previous game as the timid summoner. And this game, you know, she's now a 19-year-old woman that can be free to live her life and explore Spirit in a time of great change. It's like the 60s right now, but for Spirit, right? And everyone's excited and happy and they're doing their own thing. And I think she's actually had good character development, even though the character she now is might not resonate so much with people, okay? But her outfit has reflected this intent too, and they do something really weird in this game. They say, okay, here's the new Yuna in her songstress outfit, and then they say, oh no, don't worry, you don't have to be too offended by that. That's not so different because actually it wasn't Yuna, it was someone pretending to be Yuna. And then they show us Yuna in her new Gunner outfit, which again is extraordinary and different. And then in the same scene, like the opening battle scene, they change her again immediately back to Festivalist. You have to do it for the tutorial, right? So they do this weird thing, like a weird bait and switch where it's like, okay, here's new Yuna, okay, no, this is new Yuna, okay, no, this really is new Yuna, don't worry about it. You know, like it's so floppy, it's weird, and I have to wait until this mission to talk to you guys about it because, you know, there was so much going on in the first episode. Anyway, so these guys are running off, they're goons, damn it.
Oh no.
And so we chase them down. So what was Yuna doing this whole time then?
I hadn't heard from Riku or Pain, so I didn't know what to do.
It's me!
Whoa, so the Moogle there, I don't know if you guys saw it, is running ahead of LeBlanc, who is pretending to be Yuna. And we rounded the corner just before we, as Riku, rounded the corner. Ah!
I wasn't sure what I was doing.
And here we go, so we hide by the crates. This scene you are currently watching will only appear in the game
Riku sure was having fun.
if you, as Riku, interact with the Moogle at the start. Remember I told you guys the first thing you can miss? Interacting with the Moogle at the start will heal you and not do anything else, right? It won't give you extra % completion or anything, right? So you won't think you've done anything good. But then when you come back to Luca later in Chapter 1, this whole scene you just watched with Yuna coming here and hiding by the crate and saying that Riku was having fun, this now increases your completed score. And this will only appear if you kiss the Moogle as Riku at the start of the game. Sorry to pause in cutscenes, I know it really breaks the flow of it. I don't anticipate doing it too much in the game. And that is an intimidating shot there. Logos with the gun, like makes the gun look really intimidating, the revolver. And that he just slowly walks on by. I think that's a big mistake of these games as well, that they play down guns so much. I'd love to like create a universe in which there's magic and stuff, but guns are still guns.
Looks like trouble.
And, you know, if you get shot in the chest, the head, anywhere, that's a serious, potentially lethal injury you've just sustained.
Finally.
But, you know, a lot of other games like this, you know, it's like, oh, trigger happy, I'm going to shoot you a bazillion times and do 1 damage. You know, it's weird. I guess the same argument can be made for swords and stuff, though, to be fair. I don't know why they should find firearms more offensive when so many fantasy works do it in various areas.
Here comes the real Yuna.
And then that cues the cutscene with her jumping over. And you even get to hear the sound effect in the background. So for the purposes of completing the mission, there's no combat.
I was just about to finish him off, but then you showed up and stole all the fun.
I guess I was so glad to get out of that thing that I went a little nuts.
That explains the dancing.
Does it?
Yuna's dancing? Where? I am there!
Listening close enough?
So, this is my life now. We travel from place to place, and the days just seem to fly by. But sometimes, I find myself stopping. I'm listening for your whistle.
Oh, I really like the delivery of that line. Oh, listening for your whistle. Maybe it's the music. A brief interlude of some of the more beautiful music in 10-2. Also, I promise you that is the last time Brother is a complete creep and weirdo. From now on, he's just this funny, ridiculous, outlandish dude. I'm gonna eat my words. Later, he's gonna hit on Yuna again in a really weird way, and it's gonna be creepy. But yeah, this loads us straight back up to the airship. You notice this hasn't been that common yet in the game, but it will happen. Now we're done with the world tour for the start, okay? And some of the areas are a bit more meh than others. Now, when we get to Chapter 2, the areas where there's nothing to do expands quite substantially, so there's not so much side stuff. When we get to Zanarkand, okay, the plot is going to progress on a much more linear line for quite a while. And I would be pretty brazen to say it, but I sort of feel it, that 10-2 really is only going to get going and starting now. Riku says, if a Riku imposter ever shows up, do I have to dress like that? No, you don't. Payne says, the Gullwing's prized garment grid. That couldn't have been fun. Actually, I'm still telling you guys all this prematurely. The game loads us straight back to the airship, but we never really got to explore Luca in the present day there, did we? Well, let's go back, because there is plenty of stuff to do. It says, it may be the off-season for Blitz, but there are signs of another sport taking root in the streets of Luca. So we'll go check these out. There is a garment grid available for us here. And we can learn about various other things. We can actually start matchmaking and publicising for people here too. This lady says, back in Killica, my hometown, the Youth League and a new Yevon are having quite a standoff. Now, she still stood here from earlier, so you might think, well, this is kind of weird. But I guess if that idea of her constantly training on the stairs holds true, then whatever. This kid's still running in circles. Hi, Lady Yuna. Funnily, if you remember in the previous game, someone said, oh, well, children just run in circles all the time. And there you go, more evidence of it. This person is still wondering whether they should join New Yevon or the Youth League. This Ronso's going up the stairs, so we'll speak to them quick. Ronso on Sacred Mountain live good life with new elder? Question mark? Well, I would like to think so. It's weird to think all the random Ronso now know who Kumari is. So we can publicise or matchmake to this lady here, who says, my boyfriend is always going on about Lady Yuna. My boyfriend calls me Little Mama. If anybody gets that reference, I will be over the moon. Okay, so she likes Lady Yuna, that's all we really know. Or that she's got a boyfriend, so, wow, we can matchmake when she has a boyfriend, guys. Here we go. This is going to be pretty bold. I think she's fun and she likes the high pillow thing. She seems totally pumped! Yes! She went over there! Amazing. So let's matchmake. Look, you don't like that guy. Okay, I have find your better half. Oh, that's perfect. You picked a curiosity. That is outrageous. I'm sorry, dude. Well, okay, so he says, I was there to hear Lady Yuna's speech 2 years ago, too. Nice to think that just a random end cutscene obviously had impact on people. This man says, far as I'm concerned, these young people are making too much of a ruckus. Same dialogue. That Ronso lady is the same person. We couldn't advertise to the old dude anyway. I would find it curious if there are less old people you can publicise and matchmake to in this game. Just because it, I don't know, would make slightly less sense, I suppose. Anyway, so the cafe over there, there's no reason to even walk to the door. You can't go in, you can't press X, you can't get any dialogue. The old people sitting around over here, again, you can't be publicised to. The new Yevon party, what's that got to do with me? Well done, good point. Just because they're doing stuff doesn't mean you have to. The Youth League, never heard of them. They're just getting on with their lives. I suppose that's fine until trouble comes to them. So this person on the bench says, it's a bit surprising. Most people in Luca seem to accept Machina. Well, I guess they always had the Blitz Stadium right here, and that was Machina. I don't care if it's Blitz or a concert or whatever. I just want something fun to do. You want something fun to do? Ah, I cannot publicize to you. Fine. You're full of words, but you don't really care. Whew, it's hot out here. Change your outfit, bro. Or, okay, maybe go somewhere a little bit cooler. Open air. Get your air on. They seem mildly intrigued. Come on. The air would have cooled you down. That was too good. That was perfect. This guy is a little kid. How would you publicize to a kid? Fun awaits you at open air. They seem mildly intrigued. Why are you only mildly intrigued? Where's your happiness and excitement? Should I matchmake to a kid? Strange, he doesn't seem interested. Okay, that makes sense. So, all right, let's move on. Oh, we almost ran headfirst into a guy there. Obviously, Lucan music's a little bit different now. I don't know whether I prefer it to the old Lucan music, but one thing I will say in its favour is it does make me think of a harbour more, and this is a harbour town, I guess. Have you heard what Sid's been up to? Actually, no. He says apparently he's running some pretty quirky outfits. You know, that's a good point. Where is Sid? We've been everywhere in the game now. He's a pretty big character. Riku's mum, whoops, Riku's dad, brother's dad? They're both on the airship with us. Lady Una, I had no idea you could sing so beautifully. Well, that's because I cannot. So let's move on up. Or maybe I can. Maybe I can. And I'll take you guys to the Sphere Theatre now. Now, this is an area of the game I would expect to have been much more significant than it actually is. This whole game, like a big theme of Chapter 1 at least, is we're sphere hunters, right? Like, we're traveling around the world looking for spheres. And spheres could be bought and sold here. You'd expect this to be like a huge thing, right? But aside from the fact that the general public seems excited by it, it actually doesn't play a huge role. It's completely optional and serves the same function it did in the previous game. So this lady says, quite a theatre, isn't it? So many movies to watch and music to listen to. Absolutely. Go away, says the little girl. I don't know why she's upset, but she is. I asked one simple question. This reminds me of me, okay? So, this guy is animatedly in conversation. This lady is not very interested. So, she asked him one question, and he says, I'm putting everything I've got into this explanation, but she's not getting it. What do you mean? Sphere theory is just not something you can explain in a few short words. Oh, I know those feels, guy, where people just stop listening, you're saying too much. Now this guy's going on and on and on about some boring theory. Brilliant. This guy says, I came to pick up some souvenirs, but I can't decide what to get. Okay, well, that's fair enough. When I'm having trouble deciding, I do this receiving something thoughts. Okay, cool. Yeah, this guy over here, we can't publicize to anyone. They all look so good, I can't decide on what one to get. Well, let's go have a look. Actually, let's not have a look. So basically the idea here, we could buy a music sphere, is you buy a sphere, and there are various pages of them, and then you can enter the Sphere Theatre and listen to said sphere. So what's a really pretty one? I love the Zanarkand Ruins music. Oh god, we just picked the Luca one. So we'll pick this one here, for example, Memories of Waves and Light. And, oh, I did not mean to buy that as well. Be careful, obviously, each one costs 1,000 gil. So now we can go to the Sphere Theatre, and we can listen to music. I did this in the previous LP, so I'm happy to do it here. Listen to Music Sphere, and Quan music, Memories of Waves and Light. And so here you'll see that this is, of course, the intro music to the game that I listen to every single day. I come to LP some more for you guys, but I cut out the videos. And something we'll hear later on in the story too. Because I'm on New Game Plus, all of these spheres are available, including all of the movie spheres. And do you remember how in 10 you could basically look at every single CGI cutscene except the last ones at the end of the game, because obviously you hadn't seen them yet? Well, that's different in X2. By doing New Game Plus, you can even buy like the ending cutscene spheres, and you can buy like a sphere that will show you the end credits and so forth. Actually, I think the end credits are attached to the final cutscene. So that's a cool little quirk. Again, another benefit of running with New Game Plus. Some NPCs here we never talked to before. This guy says it's like Luca is asleep during the Blitz off season. Yeah, it does look a lot more empty. Some of you guys may have been thinking that's because of I don't know, rushed to development or whatever. It's not, it's just that the season isn't on. We never really saw Luca in this situation before. Many of the characters are running in from off screens too. This guy says the LeBlanc Syndicate walked out on their check, so my restaurants had to foot the bill. Wow, I'm sorry about that, dude. We've actually never been to a restaurant in Luca. Just recently, Sphere Break's been starting to get really popular, says that person. What the hell is Sphere Break? This person here says, are you familiar with Sphere Break? And you can say, actually, I am. And she says, a number of players are already here. You'll find them downstairs near the locker rooms. Or we can say, no, what is it? And she says, Sphere Break is a great way to pass the time during the Blitz off-season. A number of players are already there. You'll find them downstairs near the locker rooms. A big tournament is coming up soon, so learn the rules and practice hard. Now, I will not be going into all this depth on this just yet, but if we come down here, we will find a familiar face and learn about something new to do in Final Fantasy X-2, very similar to a card game you could play in Final Fantasy VIII, Triple Triad, which is probably my favourite minigame the series has ever done. Ah, it's Rin! Check it out! So, we were just talking about him.
Ah, the Lady Yuna.
It's been too long.
What you selling this time?
Entertainment.
Snake oil.
Lady Yuna's calm has given the people of Spira time to relax and enjoy the finer things in life. What better time for me to introduce Sphere Break? It won't be long now before Luca will host the inaugural tournament. You are more than welcome to compete if you like.
Should we?
Yeah!
Ask around if you would like to know the rules of the game. Idem hac desa.
Oh, I don't know enough Albed to understand that. So, but we did get another Albed Primer 12. And so, yes, Rin has developed he has coined, does that work? A new game called Sphere Break. It's played with coins. If you remember in the previous game, the only entertainment people really had was Blitzball, something that shocked Tidus. In a world without sin, then people find more things to entertain themselves. This guy says, I'm learning to play Sphere Break too. Maybe we'll play someday. So everyone's learning, just like you, the player, are. She says, okay, so I use a coin to break the core. Then the value of the coin goes up. So, sorry, do you think you could explain it once more? This guy says, so now you see why the coins have numbers on them, right? You have to pick coins whose numbers add up to a multiple of the core number, and then that's a core break. Sorry, I'm a bit busy right now. If you want to learn the rules, that little guy running around can help you out. So, this sounds complicated, and that's because ultimately it is. To get into, it's quite a steep learning curve. However, once you have got the hang of it, you'll find it's actually rather basic and quite fun too. So this guy says, so Rin must be the one out tracking down these core spheres. So spheres, we want spheres, right? Should we be interested in this? It takes two things to play Sphere Break. A coin sphere and coins. I don't have either. Guess I'm out of luck. Yeah, I don't have either. Coin spheres sound pretty valuable, huh? Well, maybe this should be something we're interested in. The little guy says, getting interested in Sphere Break? We're going to say not a bit. He says, what a shame. Actually, hold on. If we say yes, I think he does. Then he says, then about face. You need to be in the hallway to the left side of the stairs. They're explaining the rules over there. Oh, brilliant, yeah. Okay, so core sphere, echo bonus. It's like everyone's talking in code or something. Yeah, don't worry. We're all very intimidated right now by the idea. So we will go to the other basement, and once we've been in there, that's pretty much everything to do in Luca, except for a garment grid in a chest you can find on one of the docks, which we'll grab shortly after. The stadium is locked out in X-2. You cannot visit there again. Okay, so a bunch more people. There's a little dude. This woman says, that guy's Sphere snagged all of my coins. Once I get better, I'm taking them back. So these people are actually playing. They're not all newbies. If you learn the rules early, it's easy to take the lead, right? That's true. Master your technique now before it really catches on and you can clean up. It's like when Hearthstone came out. You had all these people learning it while it was beta, then it released. And then when it came out on iPad as well, like everyone who caught on early could just devastate. Like Arena was so easy when it came out on iPad. Hey there, sweetie. Feel like taking my core sphere? Giddy up or not right now? We're going to say not right now. Yeah, you probably shouldn't. So he was actually offering us to play us a match there. He says, so where did you get your hands on that core sphere? Come on, tell me. Actually, hold on. Can we say yes? Was he offering us a game? So we'll say giddy up. He says, a little wet behind the ears, aren't you? Learn the rules. Then maybe we'll talk. Yeah, I didn't think we could. Two kids over here says there just may be a rare coin in it for anyone who can beat us. meh, that ain't happening. So there's actually high stakes when you play people. For games like this, you just know kids are going to be better. I guess we aren't going to have any grown-up competition, huh? Now, in the international version of the game, I believe they added a few new Sphere Break players and certainly new Sphere Break rewards, garment grids and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's kind of random as well that they just randomly added that stuff into the rewards for this part of the game, but whatever. The kids these days, they're just too tough. We started Sphere Break at the same time, but I'm already flat out of coins. This is something weird, okay, that I haven't really experienced that yet in my life. But I know for a fact that my brain is getting a little bit slow. I can feel it happening, and it devastates me. I hate it, right? But as I have slowly got older, I remember I don't retain stuff as much as I used to when I was younger. I don't know, like, just random snippets of information. I find it harder to recall them. But there is, like, this classic thing I hear about a lot, and it's this idea, the idea that once you're, say, 30 or whatever, you can start learning something at the exact same time as a child, and the child will quickly outpace you, and the child will know it far better than you can and learn at a faster rate. And that seems so weird to me. I've never experienced it, and I'm kind of looking forward to when I experience it, because it feels just so simple to me. Like, oh, both me and the kid are learning the stuff at the exact same time. Why should I be any worse than him? You know, it's one of these ideas like, why shouldn't I go back to school and learn stuff at the exact same rate as everyone else? It doesn't matter. But maybe there is a real thing about this, you know? He started at the same time as the kids, and they're already doing way better than him because they're younger and their brains are more primed for learning. If you focus too hard on getting combos, you can mess up the break. Then you'll be low on coins. Whatever, we'll talk to this guy. If he throws me into a huge tutorial, I will skip it, and we'll describe it in a later episode. The Wondrous World of Sphere Break awaits. Do you have any questions about Sphere Break? Of course. So we can say, tell me the rules. And yeah, here we go. So he says, but enough of this small talk, onto the rules. He gives us a bunch of coins. Helm, blah, 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 blah. These are named after fiends, flans, as you can see there. He says you can play my practice course sphere until you're familiar with the game. And here, as you can see, as I spam through, this is the Sphere Break menu. Pretty interesting. But we're going to exit the tutorial. There's no reason to do any of this in Chapter 1. Ultimately, you will want to play Sphere Break to get 100% completion. But right now, I'm just happy to get a few coins, talk about it, make sure we know that it exists, and move on. So yeah, I'm going to head to dock number 5 right now, guys, or dock 4. The one over here on the right. And we're going to grab a chest. We won't bother going around and talking to all of the NPCs, since that's what most of this video has been. And we'll just grab an important garment grid. Now, if you missed this in this chapter, it doesn't matter. You can get one later. You'll notice that the camera angle is different here than it was in the previous game. This guy running around, this dock worker, says, we're not making any progress on this cargo. Too bad there isn't a machina that can do this stuff for us. Well, I think you'd be surprised. You could create machina that can do this. We'll move over, and this chest, quite obvious this time. This was rather well hidden before. Has the Thunder Spawn garment grid. This is the lightning version of the Ice Queen. As you can see here, by equipping it, we get Lit Eater, and of course that's just shortened for Lightning Eater. We get to use Thunder, go through gates to get Thundara and Thundarga, and you can see Ifrit's Faith in the background. So one thing I'm really curious about now is what the water element one will look like. That's the last of the 4 elements we need to get, and we'll get that at the end of the chapter. Okay, so back on the airship, Riku says, come on, let's go, 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 go. This is just default dialogue. She says, I really hope the next sphere is worth the trip. Well, at last, guys, let's go get the next sphere. Remember when this chapter began? Buddy told us there were 2 spheres. There was one that he could detect in Besaid. There was one in the Zanarkand ruins. We've managed to collect a couple more. Not necessarily movies. We did get one movie, the Crimson Sphere, that the LeBlanc Syndicate were going after. And we also managed to get a sphere from Tobly 2, who unlocked another class for us. Well, let's go to the Zanarkand ruins and see what was being detected there. Zanarkand Sphere Hunt. We're getting sphere waves from deep inside the ruins. Given the place, I wouldn't be surprised if this one was a 1,000-year-old sphere. Interesting stuff, and this is, of course, a place of great history, some really significant moments in the previous game, and wonderful music in this game. Very important to Yuna.
This is where we sat, that night. The 7 of us. I've never talked about it. I didn't want to share my memories. I wanted to keep that feeling, this place, within me forever. Now look at it.
A tourist attraction.
Whose idea was that?